All right, let's take a look at question 23. It reads, the expression negative 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 divided by the quantity x to the third plus 2x squared can be written as. So this problem is basically assessing your ability to simplify rational expressions and also apply the properties of exponents in the simplified form. Okay, so before we get started, let's go over one of the formulas that we're going to be using in the simplification process, and that is basically the quotient property of exponents. Quotient property of exponents. And that is given by x to the n. If you have x to the n divided by x to the m, basically you're dividing exponents with identical bases. What you do is you subtract the powers. Alright, so let's keep that in mind. Now let's go back to the problem. We have negative 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 divided by x to the third plus 2x squared. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to extract the numerator and denominator, factor them completely, and then see what we can reduce after accomplishing the factored state of this rational expression. Okay? Alright, so let's start with the numerator. So from the numerator, we have negative 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. So we have a quadratic trinomial. We're going to factor this using the x game or the AC method. So let's see what we have here. AC goes on top, B goes on the bottom. AC is negative 6, B is negative 5. So think of two numbers that multiply to give you negative 6 and add to give you 5. So we can use negative 6 and 1. A good distractor here is 2 and 3. But if you try and work out the signs, it won't work out, okay? So anytime you pick up numbers, you will want to verify that they work. They do in this case, so we're going to have negative 3x squared. Now insert the numbers that you got from your x game. Negative 6x plus 1x, just append x's next to them, plus 2. Okay? Now we're going to factor by grouping. So I'm going to divvy up my quadratic polynomial with 4 terms down the center. And then now I'm going to see what I can factor out from the first 2 terms. The GCF there is negative 3. So you'll be left with x plus 2. Remember, anytime you factor out a negative, the signs flip. Okay? How you factor out a 1 and you're left with x plus 2. We're looking good because the quantities in the parentheses are identical. Oh, pull out the x here. Sorry. Alright, 3x. That works. Okay, and then we have x plus 2. Factor that out. And the terms on the outside, the negative 3x and the positive 1, we group them together and we have negative 3x plus 1. Okay, so that's the factored state of the numerator. Now how about the denominator? What can we do there? From the denominator, we have x to the third plus 2x squared. The GCF, you look at the variable terms, the one with the least power, that's the GCF. So x squared will be the GCF here. So you factor that out and you're left with x plus 2. Okay? Now let's go back to the original problem. Since we already have the numerator and denominator factored out, we're now going to express the rational expression in its factored state. So it's going to become x plus 2 times negative 3x plus 1, that divided by x squared times x plus 2. The x plus 2's are identical, so you just divide them out. And you end up with negative 3x plus 1 divided by x squared. Okay, if you take a look at the options that you have, we don't have a match yet, so we gotta simplify further. So we're gonna break this up and express it as negative 3x divided by x squared plus 1 divided by x squared. Okay, remember, if you have two fractions with identical denominators, you can combine the numerators, keeping the denominators the same. So we're doing the reversal of that. Okay, keeping the denominators the same and splitting up the numerator. Now we're going to apply the quotient property of exponents that we discussed earlier. So let's express each term as a power of x. Negative 3x has the first power. 1 is a constant. So we can add on x to the 0th power there. Okay, so let's simplify. This becomes negative 3x to the 1 minus 2 plus x to the 0th power minus 2. Okay, so this becomes negative 3x to the negative 1 plus x to the negative 2. Okay, so let's see what the answer is. Answer is option number 4.